What is up, Rebel fans, and welcome back to another Runnin with the Rebel show. I'm your host, Rafael Gonzalez, and this is week two preview, I guess we'll call it. I am going to talk about other things among just the game coming up against UCLA. There's a lot of stuff that's been going around on X and whatnot like that, but welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. If you are enjoying the show and you like what you're hearing here, go ahead, shoot a subscribe and a like to me. It helps me out a lot on the channel. But yeah, we got UCLA this week, guys. It's a big game. I wouldn't say it's a huge game, but it is going to be the best game on our non-conference schedule. Hopefully we get a good turnout at Allegiant Stadium. Hopefully we get 40K plus. I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for personally. And yeah, there's been a lot going on this week. So if everyone did see earlier in the week, there was a press conference and Aamaris Brown was there along with Anthony Calandria after they interviewed Dan Mullen a little bit. And a lot of people are talking about, not just locally, but a lot of people nationally or in general are talking about Aamaris Brown's comments about Nico and what he said. And they tried to make it seem like it was disrespectful. A little trash talking, I guess would you say, but even if it wasn't, which I don't think it was, right? Talk that shit, Aamaris, what I'm talking about. You just got to back it up on Saturday. That's all, you know what I'm saying, baby? But no. So to me, when I watched the press conference, I did watch it on YouTube. It didn't sound like it was a disrespectful comment coming from Aamaris Brown. Somebody asked him, do they see anything different from Nico, from any of the other competition that he's played in the past, or other schools that he's been? And he kind of just said that nothing really stands out from Nico from other 4- or 5-star talents that he's seen. He basically essentially said that he's played against other very talented guys, and that Nico is one of the same in that aspect, a talented guy that they're going to have to prepare and focus for. And so I don't think it was a disrespectful comment, but the way the internet works and the way X works, sometimes somebody will take a clip, take a tidbit, edit it up a bit, and then run with it, And so that's where we're at. We've had I think On3 reposted something that got over like 1,000 likes and hundreds of comments, and then I believe there was a couple other sources out there that kind of ran with it too. But I like it. It puts spotlight on the game for us. It gets people talking about our game coming up this weekend, even though it's on CBS Sports Network, which I thought it should have been on CBS, but that's just my personal opinion. And I think it's good. I think it's good overall for us as a program to kind of have people talking about us in any kind of way. And I say that too because at the beginning of the year, we were receiving votes in both the polls, in the college football ranking and the AFCA coaches poll. And now we did have a bad showing against Idaho State. I will say that Idaho State came back the next week and kind of got throttled by Southern Utah, who's another FCS school. But we won. It was week 0, right? We have a brand new squad, hasn't really played together that much. And we pulled out a 38-31 victory. And then we came against Sam Houston State. And if we don't get up those 2 big defensive plays on 4th down, 4th and 1, you had the big 50-something yard rush. And then there was another 59-yard-ish, right, pass, little quick pass. I mean, we kind of shut down Sam Houston State there. And we win like 38-7, maybe 38-10 if they maybe drive down and kick a field goal instead of getting those big runs, 38-13, something like that, right? And so I think we should still be receiving some kind of votes. I think it's kind of a disrespect towards us a little bit that we don't have. If we started in the receiving votes and we haven't lost a game this year, even though we might not have played our best this year, I think we should still be in there. We are getting votes in the AP poll still. We got 4 votes. But I think we had more week 1, if I'm not mistaken. I could be absolutely wrong in that aspect, and I'm pretty sure I can go back to and check preseason, and they didn't do week 1. But yeah, we were getting 21 votes in the preseason AP poll, and we were getting 8 votes in the coaches poll, and then you come down to week 2 here, and we're only getting 4 votes in the AP poll with 0 in the coaches poll. And I'm not saying that we should be ranked or anything like that, but I think if we were receiving votes initially, and we haven't lost a game yet, even though we didn't look the best in the 2 games that we played, I think it's kind of a little disrespect towards us, but it's something that we're going to have to work for. All we have to do is win games, keep winning games, and that will change. But yeah, so I like I said, I like the Aamaris Brown comments. I think it puts a spotlight on us as a team. Hopefully it helps us focus, because if people are going to spin it on X and do that, it's going to give UCLA a little bit of motivation. It's going to give Nico probably a little bit of motivation to come out and try to probably ball out and play his best. And so hopefully we can match that energy, match that talent, match that toughness, and come out with a victory. And it'll be very helpful for our program, if that does happen. So I don't mind it at all. I love it. It's part of the game, right? There's going to be guys that talk a little bit, but like I said, I don't think he did it in a disrespectful manner. But overall, I think it's still good for the program. My second topic I want to go over is I think Jet needs more touches. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Dan just wants to run a shared system in the running back room and have a lot of depth. But I think, like I've said in earlier videos that I've posted, you guys can go and check out week 1 or week 0, stuff like that. If you're not going to give Jet the amount of touches to make him very viable in the game and make the defense really focus in on him, because if Jet's getting 150 plus yards a game because you're giving him 15 or 20 carries a game, right, or 125, or whatever the case may be, that what you think are good stats and good numbers for yardage wise or touchdowns or whatever, right? The defense is going to have to hone in and focus more on him. When you do this plethora of running backs thing, and someone might have a successful game. We had running back that had an okay game last week, and I talked about that last week. But overall, it's something that I think will be a problem in the future, because people can just hone in on Calandria and maybe rush, send people, nose deep into him. Where if you have Jet there, play actions and things like that are going to be very useful and are going to catch people off guard. And so, yeah, like I said, I really think Jet needs the ball more. He needs to be able to be a factor and a problem where the defense actually has to game plan and physically think about what they're going to be doing in the game against Jet. Like I said, Kevon Lee had a good game last week, but it's I think Jet is the dominant running back. He has over 100 yards after contact already in the season, and it's only been 2 games, and he's a leading rusher, even though he hasn't been getting a bunch of touches. I know we've played an extra game more than a lot of other teams, but still. If he has that 15 to 20 carries a game, I think that's going to really help us game plan offensively and be at our top offensively moving forward. And so hopefully in going into this game, since it is a bigger game, our biggest non-conference game on the schedule, we still have Miami of Ohio left after this, which is going to be a tough game on the road. Don't get me wrong. But this is the biggest game of our non-conference schedule. Hopefully Jet gets the ball 15 to 20 times. If he was injured or something like that, I can completely understand that you want to try to freshen him up, not give him as much yards, right, if he's a little banged up or dinged up or whatever the case may be. But I definitely think that he needs more touches for us to be flying on all cylinders offensively. And so hopefully that does happen coming up. And then speaking about the offense needs to execute at a high level, because UCLA has a lot of talented individuals. They're a very talented team. They have some deep pockets for some NIL transfers. Nico, obviously one of them, right? So they've paid for some players to come over there who are talented guys. So even though they had a really bad showing in week 1 against Utah, I think that has to do a little bit of Utah being a better team than expected, I think, this year. And also them just not having a great first game. Listen, we didn't have a great first game week 0 against Idaho State, an FCS team, right? And I think UCLA was kind of working the kinks out a little bit. I don't think they're as bad as the 43-10 showing that popped up in their first game. But I think it's still a very winnable game for us if we come and compete at a high level offensively. And I say that because I don't trust the defense enough to not give up a ton of points. We improved greatly. Don't get me wrong. We've improved greatly from week 0 to week 1. And we're going to need to do the same thing again from week 1 to week 2 here against our best non-conference competition moving forward here. And so the offense needs to protect the ball. We had 2 fumbles last week that we recovered. One went out of bounds. And so we were lucky in that aspect. And then we had the 1 interception where Calandria just kind of made a bad decision in my eyes. He probably should have tucked it, just got the 1 or 2 yards that the defense was giving him, or even just chucked it out of bounds and lived to play another day, right? You don't want to... And I get it. He has that gunslinger mentality. He thinks he can fit the ball in, but we can't be turning the ball over in this game coming up, or else that might present problems for us, because I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think both defenses are very shoddy in certain aspects of their game and their planning, and they're tackling to a degree. So we're going to need to score a lot of points, I think, to maintain the lead and possibly get the victory here moving forward in our next game. Speaking of the defense, like I said, I think the defense is going to give up a lot of points. Uh, it's just you saw the two breakout runs last week against not breakout one breakout one short pass that turned into a long run after contact, and that's because of a missed. I wouldn't say it was a missed tackle. He was trying to reach him on the edge. He kind of got his hands on him, couldn't push him out of bounds, and he was able to run all the way down. But still, the big plays. The defense is going to have to make the big plays. We're going to have to be a bend but don't break. We gave up a lot of yards again last week. Not as much as the 550 in week 0, but I think it was 340 something or 350 yards of total offense for Sam Houston. But they did get, like Dan Mullen was saying in the press conference, they did get about 120 of those, 110 to 120 of those yards on 2 plays in the fourth quarter. And so if you shut them down on those 2 plays in the fourth quarter, even if they get an elongated drive and get into field goal range and kick a field goal, we probably hold them to 200 and something yards of total offense, and it becomes a really good game for the defense in that case. So defense, I really think, needs to stop the big plays. They cannot give up the big plays. Listen, I know you want to stop them on 4th and 1. And like I said, I'm not saying give up the first down or anything like that, but we have to play to keep everything in front of us, right? And I think everybody was shooting into the backfield trying to make a big play on those 4th and 1s, and it ended up costing us both times. And so we need to alleviate those big plays, giving them up, and then we need to continue on the defensive end to create turnovers. Aamaris Brown had a really good game last week. He had 2 sacks. Those 2 sacks, I think, were caused because the defensive line was getting a lot better pressure last week, and so it allowed him to come free off the edges. And then he also had the big pick 6, right? We're going to need big plays like that to continue on defense for us to have a chance. And then kind of, like I said, bend but don't break mentality. It's okay to give up a little bit of yards, especially a talented team like this. Like I was saying, if we gave up the one big run and the one short pass big run after contact to Sam Houston, UCLA definitely has the talent on their offensive side of the ball to do the same. They're a lot quicker. They're going to be a little bit or a lot stronger. You know what I'm saying on the offensive end, and so that's something that we're going to have to be prepared for defensively. I think if we can do the bend but don't break, maybe grab a couple big turnovers, maybe some big stops on 4th down, hopefully that is enough of a gap for us as a team to put up a bunch of points and kind of get the victory here at home, which is going to be like I said, one of our biggest games here. And last but not least, man, anybody who's local to Vegas, if you've been thinking about going to a game, or if you're a Rebel fan from afar, maybe not so heavily, maybe you're more invested into the Raiders or the Knights, give the Rebels a shot. Give the Rebels a shot. They're 2-0. We're going up against a Big Ten opponent this week. If we can beat this Big Ten opponent, we are now 3-0 in non-conference and heading into Miami of Ohio game next week on the road. And then we have another tough game on the road right after that game in Wyoming. I know a lot of people might not think it's a tough game, but regardless of how Wyoming plays, when you go into that elevation and you play in that kind of elevation, it is very hard on your body physically to maintain oxygen. We're gonna have to prepare ourselves fitness-wise for that game going into Wyoming. But that's a few weeks from now, and we'll talk about that more when it comes up. But I'm really hoping that a lot of you guys show out and show up fan-wise for the Rebels. I'm really hoping for over 40K. Let's make it a record attendance for our school. We set some of those last year when we played Boise, and then when we played Reno as well. And so I'm really hoping that we can do that again this year. Hopefully, because it's UCLA, they travel somewhat decently, but I definitely rather would have a lot more Rebel fans in the stadium than them. So hopefully we can get a big crowd out there. There's tons of tailgates that you guys can join. The school has some tailgates in the Rebel Village. There's the alumni tailgate that you would have to pay for. It's a little bit more expensive because you have to pay for it, but you get a plate of food and you get some other things among that. Or just shimmy around on X/Twitter. I know some people like to call it Twitter still, but it is X, right? And ask some other Rebel fans, where's the best tailgate, or if anybody's tailgating, and bring a case of beer or bring some food, so that way they can cook it up. And I'm pretty sure people will invite you. I got invited to one that I didn't even really know about. I was sitting next to somebody, Jordan. Shout out to you, Jordan. Big ups. Sitting next to him, he invited me down to the tailgate, and it's something that I've been doing now for the last couple seasons now. So let's get out there. Let's show some support for the Rebels. I'm really looking forward to this week's game. It's going to be exciting. And then last but not least, getting into my predictions here. I changed up the format a little bit, like I said. I don't think the offense defense kind of graphic format was working. It was the least amount of views that I got in the video. If you guys did like it, shoot me a comment down below and let me know what kind of format that you did enjoy. Maybe I bring it back. I'm just trying to get a feel for exactly the kind of format that I want to do here. But my predictions for the game is I think we can win the game. And if I had to make a prediction, I think it's going to be, like I said earlier in the video, a high-scoring game. I think we can put a lot of points on their defense. Their defense did not look very good against Utah. I think Utah's a good team. I don't think they're that good of a team, though. And so I think it was a little bit of a shakiness from UCLA as well. Their offense sputtered all over the field, but Utah's defense looked stout. But I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. And if I had to make a prediction, we scored 38 points the last 2 weeks, believe it or not. And so I think I'm going to go into the range of the same score for us at least. And I'm going to say it's going to be a 35-31 UNLV victory. I think UCLA is going to come and bring their A game after how bad of a game that they had last week. And I think our offense is still going to be connecting on all cylinders. Calandra has been fantastic so far this season, has really done a better job coming into the season. For me personally, his interceptions were my biggest concern. I believe he had like 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions or something like that last year at Virginia. My numbers can be completely wrong. What I do know, though, is that he had a lot of interceptions, and that was my big concern coming in. Is he going to have that same gunslinger mentality and try to squeeze the ball into places that he really can't fit it? And he's done a really, really good job of being extremely accurate. He's got a high 70% percentage completion, I believe, so far on the year, and making good decisions, whether it's to be to tuck down the ball and run or hit the check downs or things like that. He's only has the one interception so far this year. He has a few rushing touchdowns, so he's looked very good to me. If we get Jet the ball more in this game too, I think that's going to be a benefit and a help to us, because if he gets breaks a couple big runs, gets a couple big runs after contact, you can start mixing in the play action a whole lot more with him in the game still, and that's going to really make the defense think on what we're going to do on that play and that drive. And so I'm going to say 35-31. UNLV Rebels. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the show. Once more, like I said, if you guys are enjoying the content, like what you're hearing and seeing from me, just giving my opinions, and I could be completely wrong. If you disagree with me, hit the dislike button down low, right? Tell me what I'm doing wrong in the comment section. But a subscribe and a like helps a ton for the show. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time. UNLV, go fight, win, baby. Let's go. See y'all next week, Sunday. We'll see you guys Sunday for the day after report after the game. Have a good weekend, y'all. Hope to see y'all at the game. Peace out.